Good morning, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, students and scholars, teachers, trainers, professors, professors, officers, officials, listeners, learners. Welcome all respected doctors, welcome all honorable ministry managers, I welcome honorable advocates, retired and district advisors, I welcome President Mr. Modi ji, Dr. Rakesh from USA, heartily cordially welcome. It is really nice time, nice place, nice action today. Let us go through some identities, many identities of our country, of our nation, cultural, social, spiritual, constitutional, educational, how unity and diversity is known as the greatest feature of our nation. It is really praiseworthy, admirable and appreciable for the worldly people because our nation is known by its spiritual identities. We are known by our spiritual, social, cultural, educational identities in the form of unity and diversity. Whether we see different changes in the nature, and these natural changes brings brings change in our society, in our thoughts, in our action, and it affects our social working also. But after all, we feel oneness, equality, and unity in all. Everyone is trying to do something better, nice, and finer of our country. Really, it is a great teaching of our nation that we read in the different scriptures and holy books of our holy religion. Nature is the common concept of all holy spiritual scriptures. It is said that nature nurtures just like a mother, nature teaches us like a teacher, it treats us like a doctor. Nature plays multidimensional, multi-sided, multifaceted role in our life. Nature never deceives, we cheat and defeat us. It was addressed, it is addressed and it will address in all the holy scriptures because nature is all and all for everyone. Let us go through the natural teachings of our nation. There can't be anyone except God who can be ours. No can ever stay with us. For instance, when a mother watches her child play, her heart becomes full of love. Similarly, God's heart is full of love for each one of the souls. He wants to accept them, meet them, and converse with them. But this soul doesn't even glance at God. So it is my request to all of you that however you are, at least, at least remember this thought that God is mine. मेरे तो गिरधर गोपाल दूसरों का कोई. If you accept this, you will never be unhappy again. There is no particular loss in accepting this, but pure and pure profit. Body, senses, soul, mind, intellect, etc. Nothing belongs to me. Only God is mine. If you accept this, you will be greatly benefited, greatly benefited. Nothing else will bind you. Even in times of sickness, you will not be distressed, but would experience eternal joy. The body might feel lethargic. The body might feel lethargic, but there will be eternal bliss within. If you develop 4 to 5 degrees of fever, you stop talking or you collapse. Even then, there will be no difference in the eternal joy within. This is an absolute truth. Since all of you have come for satsang, just accept that regardless of however we are, we belong to God. Simply because of not accepting our belongingness to God, you will have to suffer. There is no doubt about this. At each and every place you will take birth, die and suffer. Once the relationship with God is accepted, then be joyful. There is no need to do anything else. If you embrace God, then God is happy and sons are also happy. Everyone content, no one can be upset because we are not grabbing somebody else's part, but taking what is rightfully ours. There is no sweat in accepting God, no feet, no learning, no reading, no memorization, and no qualification. There is nothing in this material world that belongs to us. Understand this, and God belongs to us. Accept this. Nothing belongs to us in this material world. You can doubt this plenty. Everything will be accepted, but God belongs to us. No doubts in this will be accepted. This has to be embraced. Initially, the material world is comprehended and God is accepted. Afterwards, God doesn't remain merely accepted, but becomes tangible. God constantly gazing at God constantly gazes at you like a mother gets delighted when her child calls mom, mom. Similarly, when you call out God belongs to you, God gets utterly delighted. You are a fragment of the Lord. You must remember this at all times. I keep on repeating this because I have developed a particular regard for it only in recent years. I was not aware of its importance initially. For example, a daughter of your house after marriage belongs to the house where she got married. Similarly, you must also embrace your belonging to God's house. Accept that we are not a bachelor anymore. We are not without a master. Unlike wild beasts, we belong to God. Indeed, you all belong to God forever. You may or may not know. You may or may not accept. simply transform your sentiment. If you wish to experience God, then you must not regard yourself as a woman or man. Affirm your relationship with God that I belong to God. If you embrace your belongingness to God, then it is a tremendous achievement. If you affirm yourself as a woman or a man, then how will you achieve God realization? If you affirm yourself as a woman, then you will only achieve a man, but not God. Affirmation of one womanhood or manhood is also a hindrance in God realization. The distinction between a woman and a man is necessary for worldly customs and behavior. If you have embraced yourself as the physical body, then how will you experience God? Your inner sentiment only must transform that I belong to God. God's relation is such, it slashes all other funny relationships. You may be a sinner, but even then you are with God. Goodness and wrongdoings don't even touch you. You belong to God and God belongs to you. If you forget this, even then this truth is as it is. Forgetting and not forgetting is in the mind only. You have held the inert body, material world, so it attracts you towards itself. If you disregard its relationship, then it will not attract. If you accept your relationship with God, then sins of eternal life will depart. I belong to God, this is not a fact to ponder upon, but rather should be acknowledged. 2 plus 2 is for only what is in it for to ponder. If the mind is free of desires, if the mind is free of desires, attachment, aversion, but without any sentiment of belongingness towards God, then liberation will be attained, but God will not be experienced. Whereas there is desire, attachment, aversion in the mind, but the feeling of belongingness towards God is present, then God will be experienced. It means that impeccability is related to liberation, but belongingness is related to God. Sugriva was desirous, but he accepted that God belongs to him. The sentiment of belongingness is the most beloved to God. राम ही केवल प्रेम प्यारा. The relationship of belongingness with God is an essential cause in awakening eternal love. God is neither a man nor a woman nor a literal, but still He is everything. That's why you can accept Him as a father or a mother. Whatever relationship you want to embrace with God, God is ready to accept it. By accepting the relationship, the sentiment of belongingness develops. The sooner God is attained by belongingness, cannot be attained through exercise. The close relationship that your son has with you, a similar relationship a servant does not have. A servant is related due to work and profession, but a son is not related by work and profession. When the servant works well, you get satisfied. But even if the son is illiterate or inept, even then he has full right over his father's property. If you perform activities, then you become a servant. But if you establish belongingness with God, then you become a son. You must try and remember that we are a fragment of God, whom no one can be equivalent to, then how can anyone be greater than him? So how you must not get afraid of material illusions. So you must not get afraid of material illusions. We belong to God by remembering this. You will inherently acquire strength. We are not an orphan, we have a Lord. Remember this. Just because of not remembering God, you got disappointed and disheartened. Will the Lord employ his strength for himself? Like a mother's milk is for her child and not for the mother herself. Similarly, God's strength is for us. Being a fragment of God, we are not feeble. However, we belong to God. He is a useless son, not a son. We belong to God, then why should we worry? He who does not belong to God should worry. Nothing except God is mine. Accept this, and you will be greatly benefited. There is nothing more joyous and blissful than this. This is the essence of all Shastras and teachings of all Sant Mahatmas. Chanting the Lord's name, bhajan, kirtan, etc. are not required. You may or may not have control over the mind, but at least accept this much that there is nothing else except God, which belongs to us. How is the Lord? We are not interested in them. However, He is ours, the protector of countless universe. That Paramatma is our Father, then for what should we worry? If you accept that God is mine, I belong to God, then there will be a tremendous transformation in you. You will become carefree and fearless. Accept that God belongs to you and all your work is done. Not even a fraction of a task will be left for you to do. Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, meditative yoga, bhakti yoga, etc. Nothing will be left. The striver or sadhaka will become complete with all objectives achieved, all knowledge earned, and all desires fulfilled. He who is the guardian of all countless cosmos, that God is mine. If this is accepted, then what else is left and how is it left? The essence of love is belongingness. For those who are dear to us, we naturally tend to remember them. We remember our wife, son, and daughter. Because we love them, we have accepted our belongingness to them. If you want to love God, accept that. Accept that He belongs to you, then you will naturally remember Him without any effort. Whatever you start liking, the mind automatically goes towards it. God is mine. The power that lies within us is not there in renunciation and austerity. Each and every soul is a child of God. 8.4 million forms of bodies and other bodily forms such as dating, fields, diamonds, ghosts, and ghouls, etc. are also God's children. If you just accept that we are God's child, then what stops you? Once you accept it, then most of your work is done. The state that is not achieved even after years of sadhana will be attained just by accepting this. We belong to God. We have been blessed with this incredible truth. Now, what else do we require? If we just don't forget our belongingness to God, then everything will become alright. We will experience Chetanayamala Sahaj Sukh Rasi. We wouldn't be required to perform sadhana. It will happen naturally. We belong to God. If we remember this, if we remember this truth, then impurities will not come close, they will run away. But if we forget this, then we will get surrounded by impurities. We belong to God by shutting this all off. You can become a saint wherever you are. No one can interrupt you from this. Now we belong to God, accept so, and immediately become carefree, fearless, calm, and worryless. For instance, a son naturally, without any, without even any education, has complete ownership over his father's property. Similarly, because of your belongingness to God, you will naturally inherit properties of God. When we look at the Mahabharata, we notice that the Lord presented the Pandavas with both favorable and unfavorable conditions in plenty. But it was incredible of the Pandavas that they never disrespected the Lord. Among the Pandavas, Bhimasen had a big mouth, but even he never spoke against the Lord. Such should be the Lord's admirer. Whereas Duryodhana never developed any admiration for the Lord, he considered the Lord a clever and shrewd man. The Pandavas were incredible in the fact that even when conditions moved against their will, they will they still considered that the Lord belonged to them. Similarly, in situations happening against our will, we should still see that the Lord belongs to us. Numerous things are told concerning God, but those who wish to attain liberation should not dwell on. How is God? How not is He? The truth that delivers liberation is there is a God, and however He is ours. The foremost thing is we have a Lord. We are not orphan. This truth should be firmly accepted. The most promising technique to experience God realization is I belong to God. My intellect belongs to nature. Therefore, if the mind intellect is unsettled, then that's nature's problem as I belong to God. As God is immortal, so I am also immortal. Since God never dies, then how can I die? That's why the saints have spoken, Ram mare to मैं मरूं नहीं तो मरे भलाई अविनाशी का बालक हूँ मरे न मारा I belong to God. God belongs to me. This truth is greater than chanting the Lord's name or God's remembrance. This is true devotion. In reality, only He is a devotee who belongs to God. He who belongs to God is not an ordinary person. A material person is ordinary. Objects and actions are related to this world. We are in no way related to them. While performing any action, remember this. While performing any action, remember that I belong to God. Then in what way should I perform this duty? Institution, intuition will naturally emerge within your mind. If you will love the Lord with an innocent heart, then in what way you should be devoted? This will naturally occur within your mind. God is mine. This is a genesis for love. Love doesn't arise from renunciation, austerity, etc., but from belongingness towards the Lord. This truth is profound. After many years of delivering discourses, I became aware of this truth. Whatever belongs to us naturally becomes dear to us. We belong to God, God belongs to us. This is no ordinary truth. Such devotion is of high status. There is no sadhana equivalent to it. We belong to God, God belongs to us. We have become aware of this. Now, why will we take another birth? Most conclusive and essence of all is the fact that only God is ours. Except Him, no one else is ours. God is ever present with us. Except Him, no one else stays with us forever. If you accept this truth, then it is greatly benefiting. What comes and goes never belongs to us, but God is always present with us. He never departs. This is the essence of all the Shastra, Purana, and Vedas. So behave with love with everyone, serve everyone, respect everyone, and honor everyone. But in your heart, don't consider anyone yours. Within your heart, don't consider anyone yours. Within your heart, consider only God as yours. If you acknowledge others as yours, then one day you will have to be. To serve everyone is ours, but ourselves means to receive. No one is ours. Ourselves, for ourselves, only God is ours. You may consider God as Saguna Nirguna, Sakar Nirakar, etc. Whatever you believe, but He is ours. What I have told you is the essence, but is not heard everywhere. If you say in front of Yamraja, the deity of death, also that I belong to God, then even Yamraja will shiver. If you accept a relationship with God, then purity and piousness will naturally come to you. We belong to God. God belongs to us by, by merely uttering this, you will become your naturally. We might be a disobedient child, but even then, we belong to God. We just have to delegate our disobedience. Sadhana that happens by the virtue of the body, that sadhana also is not valuable. From within, God is mine. The value that this has, it's not there in chanting, etc., performed by the body. A chaste wife doesn't stay her husband's name, but does that diminish her love for her husband? Among hundreds of men, she finds only her husband as hers. नहीं रटिया तो का भया घटे या न चाहिए, जैसे नार सुहागनी, पति को नाम न ले। Being a fragment of God, you are one with the Lord. The body is one with the material world. If the body doesn't appear as us, then Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga, all three will become effortless. Even after these many years of satsang, if we don't accept that the body belongs to the Lord, the body belongs to the world, and we belong to Lord, then what have we done? High talks like a Pandit wouldn't suffice. It is profound truth that till God is not realized, until then, developing a relationship with anyone is dangerous. When you haven't become free from existing relations, then why do you develop new relationships? All relationships have already become tough for you to break. Then what will your condition be if you develop new relationships? It will be an utter disaster. Formulating a relationship with anyone is the cause for downfall. Jab Bharat developed a relationship with a deer, so he had to take a deer form. The word sambandha or relationship only means bondage in an excellent manner or in a great way. Formulation of a new relationship is a new danger. A man asked another, if I hold the tail of this mare, then what will you give me? The other replied that the mare herself will give it to you. She will kick you so hard that you will die. It is required of a striver or sadhaka that he must not develop a relationship with anyone. Whatever relationships does, whatever relationships exist, they are also not broken. Then why formulate new ones? A relationship with the material world is the obstacle. This truth is extremely rare. Keep your relationship only with God, whose fragment you are. Do you accept this or not? Acknowledge this or not? Or forget this altogether? Even then, your relationship with God will never break. If you accept your relationship with God, your sorrows will disappear. Whatever study I have done, the books I have gone through, and after pondering, it is the foremost truth that we belong to God. Accept this fact for eternity that I am not without a Lord, I belong to God. What I find most valuable for all, in my view, I speak that also what is foremost in the view of the Vedas, Puranas, Shastras, and Sant Mahatmas. I speak that I don't speak against them, and error might occur, but don't focus on that. The fact that is special for us, friendly for us, individual for us, personal for us, profound for us, respectful for us, and beneficial for us is that our relationship is with the Lord. We belong to God. There is nothing as remarkable as this truth. Even the Lord had stated that every soul is my fragment only. Mame vanshu jeev loke. It is a request to everyone that you must accept God as yours. You just accept this truth and your improvement will happen automatically. Whether you understand or not, accept that we belong to God. Plenty of other facts are there as well, but I belong to God. This is the essence. That's why I repeatedly say this point. You may say that Swamiji keeps on repeating the same thing that we belong to God, but even after repeated emphasis, if you don't accept, then how will you accept by stating it just once? So don't get fed up, except for God. Nothing else is going to stay with you. Reside in this world with immense pleasure. But God is mine. Do not forget this. Everything will then become alright. Renunciation, disinterest, etc., everything will happen by itself. An easy way to awaken devotion is to consider God as yours. We see in the material world as well that whom a man considers as his own appears dear to him. We belong to God, God belongs to us. This is the essence. Every other point comes under this, accepting God as our liberating truth. By merely considering the truth as ours, the Lord gets pleased. Therefore, you just accept God as your master, mother, father, brother, husband, son, friend, master, disciple, etc. Rama is my mother, Rama is my father, Rama is my Lord, and Rama is my friend. Oh, the compassionate Rama is my all in all. I do not know any other except Him. Indeed, I do not know any other. I belong to God. By holding this sentiment, your ego will become connected to God. Then devotion will become easy and supreme. Without altering the ego, devotion doesn't become great. This is a principle. If you become God's, then the realization of God becomes effortless. Without, otherwise, God realization will be difficult. Amongst all the difficulties faced in God realization, this is the foremost. In this material world, everyone loves us so intensely, but not genuinely. God is our divinity. The dearer the Lord is to us, no one is as dear as Him. The body appears good, but even that is not ours. I have studied I have studied books. I have also been in the company of saints, and wherever I got to hear good facts, I have been there as well after visualizing many facts, after reading, after listening, after understanding, and after contemplating. I have concluded that no one is equally real to us as God is. I belong to God. This truth is the essence of all truths. To attain God and His love, belongingness is the main factor and not austerity, charity, pilgrimage, fasting, etc. If you perform hundreds of austerities, vows, pilgrimages, fast, etc., even then nothing can be equivalent to belongingness with God. Belongingness with God is greater than chanting, meditation as well, chanting of God's name, contemplation of God, meditation of God, trance in God. Greater than all of these is I belong to God, God belongs to me. The more firmly you trust this, the better your job will become. God is Almighty, He can grant everything, He can do anything, so He is mine. He will help me, He will protect me. This desire sentiment must not be there. God is mine, that's it. Don't demand anything from Him, even if He graces by His appearance or not. That's His wish. Where is God? How is He? What does He do? What He doesn't do? These things are not that much required than belongingness. If He graces by His appearance, He is mine. If He doesn't grace by His appearance, He is mine. If He provides joy, He is mine. If He provides grief, He is mine. If He puts me through any situation, even then God is mine. The situation is not mine. God is mine. Remember this one truth, fix this in your mind. Live every moment belonging to God. There are interruptions in chanting meditation, but there are no interruption in belongingness. For instance, upon rising the sun doesn't have to illuminate. The illumination happens by itself. Similarly, upon becoming God's one, doesn't have to work for the betterment. The betterment happens itself by God's grace. I belong to God as and as this sentiment grows firm. Likewise, remarkability will come within you, and an exceptional joy will be there. The distance from God, the difference from God, and the distinction from God will result by not accepting God as ours. Various and many new troubles will arise, and by accepting God as ours, all troubles will resolve. It must be there within each one of us, that God's beloved son, daughter. If you will accept yourself as God's fragment, then even without saying, listening, good qualities and virtuousness, righteousness will themselves come within you. Such qualities will appear within you. You only will get surprised, but this will happen by accepting your relationship with God. We belong to God. This is the essence of all truths. You may be a worshipper or renounced. If you accept what is yours, then you will become preeminent. Mirabai accepted God as hers. मेरे तो गिरधर गोए. Mirabai rather gave birth to a son. When this one objected, will dwell that I belong to God and I will proceed towards God, then young Raja will become scared of you. Mighty, mighty flowers will be scared of you. Flowers will resolve by themselves only. No one will be able to conquer you. God will protect you until you have one objective decided. Till then, all flowers will plunder you, trouble you. When a human takes refuge in a king, then thieves, murderers start to become scared of him. You take refuge in God, and all flowers will be scared of you. You will obtain the strength to conquer lust, anger, etc. Whatever relation with God, you accept that and become. You formulate a relationship with God. This is an eminent strategy to develop love. Until you formulate a relationship with God, till then love will not arise. Accept God as yours, and everything will become all right. Righteous thoughts will emerge themselves, and those thoughts will be followed as well. Your body is a son of your mother, father, but yourself is a son of God. We belong to God. If you accept this truth, then your satsang is successful. Like a rich man, the son has pride within him. A king, the son has pride within him. Similarly, you should be proud that I am God's son, and easy and simple fact, God is mine. If God is called mine in such a way, then it impacts the Lord immensely. I strained for countless months and after struggling and suffering in 84 lakhs bodily forms, if the embodied soul utters, O Lord, I am yours. O dear Lord, you are mine. Then it satisfies God immensely. God will be utterly pleased, as if God has found something that belonged to him but was lost from him. Those who create on the might of their sadhana, they are mere bearers. A mother never wastes the activities of her child. That if he has worked this much, then I will feed him this much, I will love him this much. Wedding of activity is for a servant that whatever work he has done, he will be paid accordingly. People often require riches, estates, splendor, etc. But God doesn't require anything. Just those who take refuge in their ability and mercy, perform sadhana, ponder and contemplate, they all toil as laborers. Therefore, instead of depending on the might of your toiling, you must depend on the strength of belongingness to God. A wife is chaste from the self, not by consciousness. She doesn't become chaste by purifying her inner consciousness or antakarna. Does marriage happen after the purification of the inner consciousness? This is an acceptance of the self. Acceptance has no connection with the pureness and impureness of the inner consciousness. Acceptance is of the self, not of the consciousness. If the self accepts God as its own, then what role will inner consciousness play? Will you accept God as yours after purification of the inner consciousness? I belong to the world. There is a great downfall in this. I belong to God. There is a great uprise in this. By having belongingness with God, You don't have to purposely leave the bodily practices, but it is left naturally. I am the body. If you accept so, then all flowers will come. But I belong to God, God is mine. If you accept so, then none of the flowers will come near you. If his trial of Sarka performed all worldly obligations by believing himself as God, then his worldly activities become all right, and so will the activities for God. But if he performs all worldly obligations by believing himself as belonging to the world, then his worldly activities will not be all right, and activities for God or worship will not even happen. God is ours, not for our use. Instead, we are for His use. It means that we should not take everything from the Lord. Instead, we have to give ourselves to Him, and even in the most difficult of circumstances, we have to consider it as a blessing sent by the Lord and remain delighted. Listening, contemplation, profound meditation, restriction of the eyes and all ears are not required. The fact is extremely simple. Girdhar Gopal is mine and nobody else. Nobody is on except God. If it, is, if it does not suit you, even then accept it. This fact is true, but not consider this to be difficult. The embodied soul is a fragment of God. There is nothing as great as this fact. I express to you with folded hands that you must give importance to the fact that I belong to God. You must strengthen this determination. Nothing similar to this exists. As never existed will not exist and is impossible to exist. The best truth that had come under my opinion to attain salvation is we belong to God. We belong to God. If you accept so, then I consider this as the best form of Diksha or alms. If you give me alms for a lifetime, even it is not that much beneficial than accepting this single fact that I belong to God. We are not going to stay here. We have come here and we have to leave, like we say in chapter Zion. Similarly, we should consider ourselves here, even then this body is not ours. Then who else is ours? Except our God. Nobody is ours, only God is ours. This is the first truth, this is the last truth, and this is the ultimate truth. After many years, this has suited me to consider God as ours. God is ours, and nobody else is ours. This truth is from my heart. Except for this, I don't know much. Thank you. Thank you. पीएम मोदी ने यूएई पर देश में एलपीजी जमाखोरी और कालाबाजारी के खिलाफ कार्रवाई तेज। 15,000 से अधिक एलपीजी सिलेंडर जब्त, 12,000 से अधिक मारे गए छापे। एलपीजी कालाबाजारी पर 86 एफआईआर। असम विधानसभा चुनाव से पहले कांग्रेस को डबल झटका। असम से कांग्रेस सांसद प्रद्युत बरदलोई, प्रदेश उपाध्यक्ष नवज्योति तालुकदार का भी कांग्रेस से इस्तीफा। पीएम मोदी ने यूएई के राष्ट्रपति से फोन पर की बात। पीएम मोदी से यूएई के राष्ट्रपति से पश्चिमी एशिया की स्थिति पर चर्चा। स्ट्रेट ऑफ हॉर्मुज से सुरक्षित और निर्बाध आवागमन पर दिया बल। पीएम मोदी ने यूएई पर हुए हमलों की कड़ी निंदा की। देश में एलपीजी जमाखोरी और कालाबाजारी के खिलाफ कार्रवाई तेज। 15,000 से अधिक एलपीजी सिलेंडर जब्त, 12,000 से अधिक मारे गए छापे। यूपी एलपीजी कालाबाजारी पर 86 एफआईआर, 11 लोग गिरफ्तार। असम विधानसभा चुनाव से पहले कांग्रेस को डबल झटका। असम से कांग्रेस सांसद प्रद्युत बरदलोई ने पार्टी से दिया इस्तीफा। प्रदेश उपाध्यक्ष नवज्योत तालुकदार का भी कांग्रेस से इस्तीफा। असम से पीएम मोदी ने यूएई के राष्ट्रपति से फोन पर की बात। पीएम मोदी ने यूएई के राष्ट्रपति से पश्चिमी एशिया की स्थिति पर की चर्चा। स्ट्रेट ऑफ हॉर्मुज से सुरक्षित और निर्बाध आवागमन पर दिया बल। पीएम मोदी ने यूएई पर हुए हमलों की कड़ी निंदा की। देश में एलपीजी जमाखोरी और कालाबाजारी के खिलाफ कार्रवाई तेज। 15,000 से अधिक एलपीजी सिलेंडर जब्त, 12,000 से अधिक मारे गए छापे। एलपीजी कालाबाजारी पर 86 एफआईआर और 11 लोग गिरफ्तार। असम चुनाव से पहले कांग्रेस को डबल झटका। असम से कांग्रेस सांसद प्रद्युत बरदलोई ने पार्टी प्रदेश उपाध्यक्ष नवज्योति तालुकदार का भी कांग्रेस से इस्तीफा। असम पीएम मोदी ने यूएई के राष्ट्रपति से फोन पर की बात। पीएम मोदी ने यूएई के राष्ट्रपति से पश्चिमी एशिया की स्थिति पर की चर्चा। स्ट्रेट ऑफ हॉर्मुज से सुरक्षित और निर्बाध आवागमन पर दिया बल। देश में एलपीजी जमाखोरी और कालाबाजारी के खिलाफ कार्रवाई तेज। Religious card wouldn't work in Punjab, command to Shah from schedule. Punjab House begs Bharat Ratan for Kanchiram. Punjab Assembly Monday unanimously passed a resolution urging Centre to confer the Bharat Ratan upon VSP founder late Kashiram. Reports Navjeevan Gopal. Two views of High Court on key witness in Dera Chief case from Chandigarh. Punjab and Haryana High Court's decision to acquit Dera Sudan Chief Gurmeet Ram Rahim Singh in the murder case of journalist Ramchand Chhatrapati has brought into focus two divergent judicial assessments on one of the key witnesses, protesting former driver of the Dera Chief. Its March 7 ruling exonerating the controversial Dera Chief, High Court cited inconsistencies in protesting the statements as a crucial factor that created reasonable doubt regarding Rahim's involvement in the killing of the journalist. However, the court's reliance on alleged contradictions stand in contrast with High Court's 2018 observations in the same matter. In April 2018, High Court had upheld the recording of Bhatta Singh's statement before a trial court, observing that the witness had expressed apprehension about testifying openly in court due to the Dera chief's political clout, viewing influence, and financial strength. Tourists stranded after snowfall in Himachal rescue. Report OK's closure of Ashoka sedition case from New Delhi. Deadlock over Haryana arrest for results as strong BJP file plans to violently MLAs abstain Kargi rights to EC from Chandigarh. 10 patients dead, 11 staff injured in Odisha host fire from ignition. Man stabbed wife in front of kids, kills to Ladakh rallies for statehood. Unemployment dips marginally to 1.9% in Feb. No India-US bilateral talks on Hormuz situation, says MEA. India responds to India responds amid US call to deploy warships from New Delhi. Refineries increase LPG production by 36%. India's domestic refineries have stepped up LPG production as much as 36% to fill the gap in imports caused by the disruption due to the closure of the Strait of Hormuz because of the Iran war. Petroleum Ministry said Monday. एलपीजी कालाबाजारी क्वालिटी सिस्टम तैयार और 11 लोग गिरफ्तार। असम विधानसभा चुनाव से पहले कांग्रेस को डबल झटका। असम से कांग्रेस सांसद प्रद्युत बरदलोई ने पार्टी से दिया इस्तीफा। प्रदेश अध्यक्ष नवज्योति तालुकदार का भी कांग्रेस से इस्तीफा। पीएम मोदी ने यूएई से राष्ट्रपति से फोन की बात। Kong ridicules for years of AAP rule in Punjab from Chandigarh. SAD will remove historic injustices in Punjab, Sukhbir said from Batinda. The Shiromani Akali Dal held another Punjab Bachao rally in Faridkot on Monday, where party president Sukhbir Badal reiterated the party's commitment to correcting the historical injustices inflicted on Punjab by the party's control from Delhi, who denied the state its own capital, excluded Punjabi speaking areas, while reconstituting the state on a linguistic basis and snatched away half of its waters, which were given to Rajasthan. 4 years of art in office, man list power, jobs, welfare game, 68 FIRs under youth, Russia will Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann claimed that 68,389 FIRs were registered and 92,264 persons arrested under Russia will on law and order. Mann said Punjab government launched gangsters reward and operation Farahar to ensure organized gangs are not able to operate from the soil of Punjab. We may host Hockey Asia Cup. Talking about upcoming initiatives, one stated Punjab is most likely to host the Men's Hockey Asia Cup after a long gap. The ultra-modern stadium at Burltok Park in Jalandhar will be ready, while the stadium in Mohali will also be used for the tournament. He announced a world-class international cricket stadium will soon be constructed in Amritsar, which will boost sports and help keep youth away from drugs. Politics of restored people's trust from Chandigarh. Arson, link, robbed influence, and Sigrewal's stabbing from Jalandhar. Sarojit makes derogatory remarks on 6 a new video from Odisha. Health claim denied. Why the real fault may be a documentation error. When hospital errors trigger claim disputes. When Mumbai resident Parth Nagda's father was hospitalized for heart ailment in 2025, he was not worried about the expenses and his family floated on over his parents. He ignored the need to go heavy on matters. प्रदेश उपाध्यक्ष नवज्योति तालुकदार का भी कांग्रेस से इस्तीफा आसाम। पीएम मोदी ने यूएई के राष्ट्रपति से की बात। पीएम मोदी ने यूएई के राष्ट्रपति से फोन पर की बात। पीएम मोदी ने यूएई के राष्ट्रपति से पश्चिमी एशिया की स्थिति पर की चर्चा। पीएम मोदी ने यूएई के राष्ट्रपति से की बात। स्टेट ऑफ हॉर्मुज सतर्कता के बाद आगमन पर दिया बल। How satellites made from wood could protect us ozone shield. At least 3 large pieces of space junk fall and burn up in the sky daily, releasing toxic particles. Here is the solution. What goes up must come down. A ring of trash poses rays. Advantages of wood and white may work very well for small satellite. Japan's Lignosat one little box that passed fastest. Wooden satellites stacked in the right direction. Toxic metals linger for long in atmosphere. Black rain in Iran, what causes it and why it's a concern. क्योंकि समाजवादी पार्टी के पूर्व अध्यक्ष के घर धमाका। मध्य प्रदेश इंदौर में एक घर में लगी आग की मौत। मध्य प्रदेश असम में कांग्रेस को बड़ा झटका। न्यूज कैप्सूल। मध्य प्रदेश इंदौर में एक घर में लगी आग, 7 की मौत। पश्चिमी एशिया में आवागमन के लिए 50 विमानों का संचालन। इंदौर में एक घर में लगी आग, 7 तीनों को बचाया गया। आग पर पुलिस आयुक्त से 50 विमानों का संचालन। पश्चिमी एशिया में आगमन के लिए 50 विमान, 3 लोगों को बचाया गया। आग पर पाया गया काबू। ईरान के राष्ट्रपति सुरक्षा प्रमुख की मौत। राष्ट्रीय सुरक्षा प्रमुख की मौत। पुलिस आयुक्त 3 को बचाया गया। आग पर पाया गया काबू। इंदौर में एक घर में लगी आग, 7 की मौत। मध्य प्रदेश से 3 को बचाया गया। आग पर पाया गया काबू। एसपी says MPs seek restoration of concession in train fares to senior citizens from New Delhi before the COVID-19 lockdown. In March 2020, Railways offered 50% concession on train fare to senior citizens and government affiliated journalists. Several members in Lok Sabha on Monday asked the government to restore the 50% concession in train fares given to senior citizens and journalists that was discontinued during the COVID pandemic. Revamped Stand Up India scheme to be out soon. Sitaram Minister says from Delhi the government will soon come out with a modified Stand Up India scheme to provide better benefits to dual tribe and scheduled caste. Suspension of 8 opponents MPs from LS likely to be revoked were suspended on Feb 3 for unruly behavior from New Delhi. The suspension of 8 opposition MPs from the Lok Sabha is likely to be revoked Tuesday. Sources said citing a decision taken at a meeting convened by Speaker Om Birla, 7 Congress and a CPM MP were suspended on Feb 3 for unruly behavior following a resolution passed by the Lok Sabha in the first part of the budget session. while the 8 MPs were suspended for the entire session that is scheduled to conclude on April 2. Opposition parties have been urging the Speaker to revoke the suspension during one of the stringent sittings of the Lok Sabha. शांति के लिए मिलकर काम करते रहेंगे। हमने पश्चिमी एशिया की स्थिति पर चर्चा की है। ये बात की निंदा करता है। दौर में घर में लगी आग साथ मध्य प्रदेश विदेशी मामलों की स्थायी समिति की अहम बैठक आज। विदेश मामलों की स्थायी समिति की अहम बैठक आज। यूएई से भारत आने जाने के लिए 50 उड़ानों का संचालन। इंदौर में एक घर में लगी आग, 7 की मौत। मध्य प्रदेश जेदा भारत के बीच कुल 14 उड़ानें। Union Minister Puri's daughter moves High Court over Epstein post from New Delhi. Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri's daughter has moved the Delhi High Court for the removal of false and defamatory social media content linking her to convicted American sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The lawsuit is likely to be heard in the High Court this week. In her lawsuit seeking rupees 10 crore as damages and an order to restrain several entities from disseminating defamatory content. Khan alleges double standards of central gangster asked why Vishnu can't be reeled in. अनुदानों की मांगों पर चर्चा और मतदान। इंदौर में एक घर में लगी आग, 7 की मौत। मध्य प्रदेश City and Chelsea have a mountain to climb from Manchester. Iran going to WCFC chief from Kuala Lumpur. Sinner beats Medvedev to win Indian Wells title from Indian Wells. India women to feature in FIH Nations Cup in June from Louisiana. India is set to host FIH Evaluator event soon from Kolkata. Sanju can win you the game in the first 6 overs from Gambhir, New Delhi. Time for cricket to plan for Commonwealth Games and Olympics, says ICC Chief Shah. Beyond the bling, amid the noise around his flashy lifestyle, Hardik remains India's most reliable big match all-rounder from Mumbai. EU waits action to keep Strait of Hormuz open from Brussels. Iran keeps staying hold on oil shipping as concerns rise of prices from Bahrain. Top military opponents China on Trump's call to halt protest Strait to Hormuz from Beijing. Battle after another Best Picture at 98th Academy Awards. Michael B. Jordan win Best Actor, his first Oscar from Los Angeles. पर्यवेक्षकों का से स्वागत करेंगे निर्देश जन प्रतिनिधित्व अधिनियम 1951 के तहत नियुक्ति एलपीजी कालाबाजारी व 86 एफआईआर 11 लोग गिरफ्तार डीजीपी रही आर श्रीलेखा चुनावी मैदान में कौन proposal to include Bhagat Singh not adopted from Chile. Punjab Assembly on Monday unanimously passed a resolution urging the centre to confer Bharat Ratna on Bahujan Samaj Party founder late Kanshi Ram. A day ago, Congress MP Rahul Gandhi had written to the Punjab Prime Minister with the same demand. A protest LPG shortage demands sought on the निर्माण के नवश पुस्तक का विमोचन आज डॉक्टर विभाग की 25 गाड़ियां मौके पर पहुंची आग बुझाने का काम जारी मध्य प्रदेश दिल्ली पार्लियामेंट बिल्डिंग में लगी आग दिल्ली यूपी कैबिनेट में कई वरिष्ठ मंत्री भी रहेंगे मौजूद दमकल विभाग की 25 गाड़ियां मौके पर मौजूद। वर्णन के नोट्स पर आधारित एक विशेष डॉक्यूमेंट्री। DU releases admission data to refute Rahul's claim of caste bias from Delhi. High Court says marital harmony cannot erase child marriage illegality. The case related to a marriage solemnized at forms fact-finding team from Bhubaneswar. All is unfair inquiry. Santosh Desai says, what we see today is a relentless state of arousal that gets no pushback. This is anger at the sign of consumption that is kept on boil and is looking for a target to vent itself. For on its side, this is the old civilizational architecture had a system in a place we could agree on some shared principles that underpin our actions. अब मूर्ति पूरी तरह नियंत्रण में। दिल्ली पुलिस के मुताबिक आज कुछ लोग फंसे हुए हैं, रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन जारी। एलपीजी का पर्याप्त भंडार उपलब्ध। दमकल विभाग की 25 गाड़ियां मौके पर मौजूद, आग लगने का काम जारी। आग बुझाने। दिल्ली पुलिस के मुताबिक कुछ लोग फंसे हुए हैं, रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन जारी। देश में एलपीजी गैस सिलेंडर की किल्लत नहीं। हाल में एक बिल्डिंग में लगी आग, दिल्ली। Though homeguards said after public stabbing from disorganized Ambala suspension with 6,600-acre land back from Ambala. Lifetime given to 11 in 2021 order case from Jean. Watchman murder, one gets life sentence from Hisar. Teacher shortage and weak planning plague schools civil audit from Chandigarh. Urban bodies have gaps in waste management from Chandigarh. Expenditure outpaces revenue deficit at 28K crore rupees from Chandigarh. On bread for 3 months, Haryana man recalls Russian detention from Sultanpur Lodi. Punjab PSUs plunged from 1 lakh to 169 crore rupees profit to 4,809 crore rupees loss is the report from Chandigarh. भारत वियतनाम संबंधों पर हुई विस्तृत चर्चा। License to steal home idle rentals numbers drove 500 crore rupees. RTO scam, a digitization loophole enabled officials and agents in Rajasthan RTOs to revive priced Vintas numbers, transfer them to new vehicles and force records, triggering a statewide fraud probe. Firing or suicide, cause sustained bullet injury, probe initiated. From Hisar, community policing, vital pillar of modern policing, Haryana DGP says. From Chandigarh, 3 years on, many budget promises remain unfulfilled. LOP Jairam Shimla says. Bihar to Haryana police intercept OPM hall, arrest 6 Sundanagar. Himachal releases 500 crore rupees to clear contractors' dues. Illegal felling of trees, HP BJP bridge accuses government of shielding culprits. Shimla SSP orders provocateur COP pushes journalist. Shimla police arrest key drug supplier from Chandigarh. Army man detained after woman found buried in Hisar, cantonment Hisar. Snow trap tourist near Atal Tunnel rescued from Kulu. विंध्याचल चैत्र नवरात्रि मेला 2026 की तैयारी। 2 अप्रैल तक चलेगा चैत्र नवरात्रि मेला 2026। Attuned to the fourth dimension, the story of humankind underlines that truth has more facets than are normally perceived. We live in the age of information. It comes at us from all directions. enveloping and overwhelming and accumulation and consequences of the sum total of human experience and endeavor. It is exhilarating and disorienting, often both at the same time, yet the human mind has always been on a quest for truth, seeking it in a myriad ways since before the dawn of history and expressing it just as diversely. Years on, many budget promises remain unfulfilled. Alok Jairam said from Shimla community policing, great waiting period of modern policing, Haryana DGP Chandigarh says, firing a suicide cop sustains bullet injury, probably shielded from Nissan, illegal felling of trees, BJP praised accuses government of shielding culprit Shimla. Himachal releases 500 crore rupees to clear contractors' dues from Shimla. Bihar to Haryana police intercept opium hall, arrest 6 in Nagar. Shimla police arrest key drug suppliers from Chandigarh, Shimla. Shimla's SP orders pro doctors COP pushes journalists from Shimla. Army man detained after woman could found buried in Hisar cantonments. Now traps tourists near Atal Tunnel rescue. दक्षिणी भारत में बारिश राज्य स्तरीय नलवाड़ी वैली का शुभारंभ प्रदेश उपाध्यक्ष नवज्योति तालुकदार का भी कांग्रेस से इस्तीफा आसान इंदौर में एक घर में लगी आग 7 की मौत मध्य प्रदेश मुद्रा योजना से छोटे उद्यमियों को बढ़ावा देश में एलपीजी जमाखोरी कालाबाजारी के खिलाफ कार्रवाई तेज soldier manning LOC crash of cardiac arrest from Jammu former HPHC judge died at 74 Shimla J&K Deputy CM 6 Glamour bulletproof vehicles for SAM's Jammu. HP signed MOUs with Dairy World to boost rural economy from Shimla. After Venchaks releasing the rallies for statehood from Srinagar. तंबाकू की जगह फसलें भारत का ग्लोबल ट्रेड फुटप्रिंट हुआ मजबूत भारत का ग्लोबल ट्रेड एलपीजी का वैश्विक तनाव के बावजूद भारत मजबूत असम विधानसभा चुनाव से पहले ही कांग्रेस को डबल झटका शाम से कांग्रेस संसद परिवहन पार्टी से इस्तीफा जीडीपी 77% पहुंची UPATs arrest dental students for links with ISI online module from Lucknow. Excise case High Court gives Kejriwal time to respond to CBI's plea from New Delhi. Fadnavis says proposed anti-conversion law not drawing any reason from Mumbai. Murshidabad violence Supreme Court says West Bengal plea against High Court order from New Delhi. Yogi caste system meant to organize society nation weakened by casteism. BJP condemns Sadhav for remarks on Hindi. India inks certificate terms of reference with Philippines, Maldives from New Delhi. CEO's hit pause on IPO button and W-Asia conflict rages on West Asia crisis support for exporters in offering New Delhi in Fab trade gap narrows from New Delhi. Sensex snaps recession call just 939 points. RBI को Initiative of the Year Award. डोमेन को पहले वैश्विक सराहना बैंक डोमेन पहल को वैश्विक सराहना सोने की कीमतों में मामूली गिरावट प्रदेश उपाध्यक्ष नवज्योति तालुकदार का कांग्रेस से इस्तीफा in search of our other self. In Plato's Symposium, a conversation between real and imagined participants, one of the speakers, Aristophanes, recounts how the concept of love came into being. Humans originally were created with two heads and two pairs, each of arms and legs, and were perfectly content in this unity. The god Zeus, envious of their happiness and being the meddlesome tyrant that he was, divided them, leaving each sundered half in search of its counterpart to become complete again. Circles and cylinders on the shape of things and how it lives. Postcards, one safe chaos after another, one pattern after another with its hollow depiction of activism is just the kind of film the academic likes to reward. Writes a film critic, the movie stands with immigrants but without sticking its neck out. Out of the mouth of Baba often comes the best of wisdom as two preteen Tamil boys have shown adults pay attention. Watch government fetch Trump's raise posting on US media coverage of Warsaw. While democracy's factual conflict reporting is crucial, electric cooking is good. Gastrology, strategy, LPG travels should push government to free India from overseas dependency. Use LPG is ready to subsidize new kitchen, use produce for the poor and to meet high power demand. Use Indian coal smartly. America Israel सैन्य हमलों में ईरान को भारी नुकसान का दावा डोनाल्ड ट्रंप ने माइकल मार्टिन के साथ की मुलाकात डोनाल्ड ट्रंप ने माइकल मार्टिन से की मुलाकात ईरान के खिलाफ कार्रवाई तय समय से आगे ट्रंप से मार्टिन ने दिया कूटनीति और शांति का संदेश ईरान की मिसाइलों ने मध्य इजराइल को बनाया निशाना आइए अब हम डिस्कस करते हैं मॉडल्स यूजेज ऑफ मॉडल्स मॉडल्स हेल्पिंग वर्ब की तरह होते हैं और इनके साथ सिर्फ वर्ब की फर्स्ट फॉर्म का यूज होता है कौन कौन से होते हैं इंग्लिश में मॉडल विल वुड शैल शुड कैन कुड मे माइट मस्ट ought to semi models need dare used to usage of shall in future tense with I and we shall is used example I shall go to school tomorrow we shall teach you English tomorrow to is to show certainty promise commands certain etc shall is used with all words except I we how let's take example he shall eat he shall teach me means must teach you shall come means must come in question tag of the sentence starts with let us or let me shall is used let us go now shall we let me help that boy shall use of would past of shall becomes should example he said to me you will go he told me that I should go in the sense of need require one example he should do this work I should teach you to show polite request for example I should like to tell you that he is not guilty to show condition should he get money he may go to blend to give a suggestion you should deliver hard with lest should you is used work hard should lest you should fail ईरान के नेता अली लारिजानी की हत्या की पुष्टि मध्य पूर्व में बढ़ते तनाव के बीच ईरान को बड़ा झटका। लुइस एनरिक अरियो सांचेज बने नए प्रधानमंत्री। देश में एलपीजी जमाखोरी और कालाबाजारी के खिलाफ कार्रवाई तेज। बालकाजा 28 जुलाई को नए राष्ट्रपति को सौंपेगा सत्ता। एलपीजी कालाबाजारी पर 86 एफआईआर उठा लो। मास्टर सुपर 300 किदाम्बी श्रीकांत पेश करेंगे चुनावी। Uses of will. With all words except I will in future tense will is used. Example, he will go, you will teach, they will run. To show certainty, command, promise, certain, etc. Will is used with I and we too. I will teach you, we will go there. In question tag of imperative sentence starts with first form. Come here, will you please help me? Will you? Don't tell, will I? Will you?